Today's session is about the pillars of successful digital transformation in OT. Today, it's more about the digital transformation in OT with focus on power systems and the importance of cybersecurity in it. How can we see the topic cybersecurity or the subject cybersecurity as the foundation of trust, what is really important, and also that cybersecurity and the digital transformation really go beyond technology focus, right? It's about people and processes first. That's what we see today. Oscar will also give us a very tangible example how to execute a cybersecurity program in OT in a practical manner. We will see two real use cases we recently worked on in Siemens, real projects. And finally, we will summarize the session today with the key takeaways and our recommendations. Before we start with the topic cybersecurity, let's look at the digital transformation first, right? What is it actually? And you see on the left-hand side the drivers of the digital transformation. Yes, it's new technology and that's innovation. Yes, we digitalize our processes and it's mostly data-driven. What is often underestimated is it's the continuous change we see in the digital transformation. We as humans, right, we are used to adapt, right, to new situation, to benefit also. But compared to the past, when you consider, let's say, the time of digital transformation, the speed of change is increasing. And that's what is the challenge for us, right? Organizations are in a situation where they change the structure in order to support innovation, agility, and speed. It impacts the way we work together as co-workers, but also with our customers, with our partners. It requires also to change in terms of culture. An example, right? When IT/OT people talk to the business, there's usually a different language that is spoken, right? We need to get these languages closer. We need to establish a common language across the business and the supporting functions. And cybersecurity even plays a very specific role in that as well. You will see on the next slide. Another very important aspect I would like to share with you is there is no digital transformation without business transformation. A couple of years ago, right, when we saw that digital components, the innovation, the new technologies, we thought, okay, we can do so many things with it. But sometimes or often, organizations, enterprises haven't been able to transform it to a valid business model for the future. We had to make this experience first. Today, we have a better idea. We know how to achieve competitive advantage with it. We know how to increase the market share with it. And we know how to reduce the cost by leveraging the possibilities and the capabilities that come along with the digital transformation. When I may summarize the digital transformation in one sentence, it's, from my point of view, most of all, the ability to continuously change at an increasing speed. When Oscar and I sit together last week and we talked about, okay, how can we explain the topic of cybersecurity, the importance of cybersecurity as the foundation of trust, as the foundation of enhanced confidence, also considering that most of the people find cybersecurity rather complex, difficult. Also, it's cost, right? At not direct value. Also in our private life, we often make experience with cybersecurity that are not really positive. So we talked, okay, let's take another example, and we came up with the idea of brakes in a car, right? And when you imagine yourself, right, in a car, in a racing car, maybe a Formula One car on the track, and you accelerate to the maximum speed on the track, and in front of you is the turn, the curve, right? What are you going to do? You are waiting for the best moment in time, right, to hit the brakes, right, to decelerate the car to a speed you have under control to pass the turn. And after the turn, you accelerate again. So, and this is what you do the entire race, right? And the driver that knows how to use the acceleration and the brakes in the most efficient way will win the race, not the one who doesn't brake. And cybersecurity can be compared, right, with the brakes, right, of a car in an enterprise. By using cybersecurity in an effective way, right, you can control the speed of change and the related risk in a company. Right? It's a really different thinking. When we look at innovation, for example, you see again in a car, right, the brakes, we have innovation assistance systems like ABS, ESP, EVD, and many more. I lost track, right? And but in summary, those assistance systems help the driver to drive fast, even under difficult circumstances, or fast and safe, right? Even under difficult circumstances like heavy rain, or the driver is tired and makes mistakes, right? When we tie this back to the topic cybersecurity in an enterprise, right? When there is a change, right? We saw, right? Digital transformation is most of all a change, right? There are many changes. So there is a change in the company. Now we as cybersecurity experts have two possibilities. We're going to resist the change as long as possible, which is very exhausting and hindering sometimes also the business. Also, there are some situations where it's valid to reject, of course. But when we think from a different angle, right, when we start to think about how can I leverage this change for the benefit of cybersecurity, how to increase, how to modernize, how to increase and modernize and implement innovative security controls. I think when we start to think about, as cybersecurity expert, when we start to think about that, right, we need to change a bit. It's not just the IT people, the OT people, or the business people, it's also us who need to look how we implement cybersecurity in an organization and how we enable the business for a better growth. This is the last slide about change. For me, that's a very important topic, as you recognize. I think that's the key, right, for the digital transformation. And this impacts cybersecurity because we can't stop it. And I think most of the people understand also cybersecurity can't stop it. We need to find another way. You see, right, infrastructure and processes are changing. We see a lot of increasing connectivity and integrations. We see a lot of IT standard equipment in OT, right, in substations, in power systems. Cloud is already in use. Right? We leverage big data and IoT to make better decisions. It's ongoing, it's out there, right? It's just a question how and when. And this is impacting also the threat landscape, right? It's changing our threat landscape in cybersecurity. So if we change the infrastructure, increase the connectivity, for example, we also change the attack surface, right? Attacker can leverage to go into our environments, right? On the other side, we see the threat agents changing, right? Let's use just the two most important ones, right? It's cybercrime and state-sponsored actors. Cybercrime, very successful over the last 10, 15 years, right? Especially with the introduction of ransomware and the possibility to earn money with digitalized money by leveraging the blockchain, which is basically not really traceable by law enforcement. A very convenient situation for organized crime, and they knew how to leverage it and continue to be more successful. Also, it's illegal, but it's really a growing business. For us, right, most of us are working in critical infrastructures. For us, the state-sponsored actors are very important because this is the next level, right? We can avoid cyber criminals to a certain degree. State-sponsored actors are much more difficult to resist. They have a long time, they have almost unlimited resources and money, but especially the motivation changes, right? We see a lot of hybrid wars, especially the geopolitical situation is changing, right? The threat is increasing, and we that are responsible for the critical infrastructure serving the society and our businesses, we really need to be careful. And Oscar will show us now a few examples. There are so many you can imagine, but he will touch a few examples and give us the trends we see looking into the future.
Thank you, Wolfgang, my friend, and thank you all for your time and the opportunity of sharing a little bit of our experience on this cybersecurity path. As has been mentioned by my colleagues, the protection in the operational technologies in OT has critically increased. Digitalization has increased the attack area for the cyber criminals, and these criminals have discovered a large gap of opportunity in the OT, a world that is not prepared to cyber protect itself. And here we have some examples of it. 2010, Stuxnet appears as the first cyber weapon that ruins 20% of Iran's nuclear centrifuges. Then a couple of years later, in 2018, a remote execution in the Middle East, Triton, have been exploited. Then 2019, Norsk Hydro have an attack and impact in the stock price of aluminium with a global drop of 1%. So as you can see, the attacks are not only affected the data or the information. Now they are focusing in the infrastructure and more critical to go against the people, right? It is not a cool, it's a fact. It's that they have discovered that this business, cyber criminal business, it's as much as drug dealers business nowadays, right? So imagine that. Everything that we have mentioned, and we can see it in the next slide, it's not something invented by Siemens. These have been more than 20 years of work with international institutions and certified organisms focusing on technology, processes, and especially in the people, with regulations such as IEC 62443, 62351, and of course the famous ISO 27001, right? Which we use to create this trust, or to build this trust, to build trust in the innovation engine that it is unthinkable to have without the cybersecurity, right? So by security and the innovation that we have in our technology, in our processes, in our service, and of course in the people that run this technology, hardware, software, and services, we try to build this trust with our customers and try to focus them and be more secure in this digital transformation. In the next slide, we can see that we have created an holistic approach based on these frameworks to identify the vision that we will have in there and how Siemens can support you securing your critical operations. First of all, we have to identify, we have to know and have the maturity vision of where we are now in our companies. Then we have to protect ourselves and start implementing tailored protection measures, of course, right? And we have to detect, ensure the real-time detection of a specific threat, or if we are having a breach in there, try to detect it in time. And most important of it, response and recover. And you will say, Oscar, Wolfgang, you are telling us that with your solution, we are going to be trust. I have to say that we are not 100% solution, and there is nobody in the market that can ensure you a 100% of cybersecurity in your plants and in your processes, right? Because imagine that there is going to be a people that are going to click that message that is going to receive that phishing or that smishing attack, right? And we are all busy all day. and we are humans. We can have this error. We can click that message. We can ask for this special Amazon gift card, right? And when you are so busy and suddenly you receive this kind of email, or a kind of email from your boss that is asking to click and log in your company to give him a little bit of important information in there, so it can happen. So we have to be ready to respond and recover against that. A couple of days ago, I talked with Wolfgang about this, and we talk about, like, if you have a flu, if you are prepared to have a flu and you have your medicine in there and you know how to react against this flu, of course you are going to be really prepared, and the illness, it's going to be more easy to handle it. But if you don't have the medicine, if you don't have even the right doctor to tell you how to manage this illness, of course you will have some troubles in there, right? So let's start this cybersecurity path. And in the next slide, you will see that this could be like a difficult puzzle, a puzzle that want to be assembled as soon as possible. But don't worry about it. We will solve. We will help you to solve this puzzle. In the phase one, first of all, we need to know where to start. If we have a strategy, if we have policies, and of course a governance, it's a really good start. But if not, we have to run some assessments based on the principal frameworks that I have already told you, right? We have to have these bases in order to establish a strategy and policies. After these assessments and these strategies, we will know where to start in the phase two. We have our assets, we have discovered all of them, and then we have the vulnerabilities that they have, that these assets have. And we can run it by some testing applications, by some pen testing, but some services that we can run in your companies in order to know all these assets and vulnerabilities on them. After all of this, we have this phase three. We can do with our assets and network segmentation, right? To start to prepare different islands of security inside our company, and to be ready on the access control and account management. Sometimes it sounds quite funny, but please stop using admin as an user and a password, and avoid using Siemens 123 or Siemens 123 dash or something like that, because it's the top three of the passwords that have been vulnerable globally in Siemens. Of course, some topics like COVID-19 have changed the way we work, right? And we have to ensure that we are protected to remote access, which have increased 100% from previous years. In the meanwhile, we know the vulnerabilities on these assets, and we have to act against that vulnerabilities. We have to manage that vulnerabilities. We have to be ready with our data backup and the restore of this data in our systems. Of course, having the OT systems of cybersecurity, security patching, right? Hardening of our system and malware protections. Then we can jump in the phase four, MDR, manage detection and response systems. Threat detections, hunting against these detections, analysis of the vulnerabilities in real time, right? And what happened with our customers, and I include myself a couple of years ago, what happened with a customer on when we start asking about cybersecurity? The first that we do is try to put a firewall in there, which is a really good technology, which is a really good solution. but we are talking in the phase 3 and phase 4 of our cybersecurity path, right? So we are starting from the phase 4 that we have defined in this path. It is no bad. We can start over there, but we have to have the previous phases that I have already shown you to make stronger our solution, talking about a firewall, a next generation firewall, an IDS, intrusion protection, intrusion detection system. So in order to make these solutions stronger, we have to run the previous phases of this path. And last, well, in the phase 5, it's what I have already told you, the business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan. What I do to resolve when I have a cyber attack. Of course, it's going to happen. There is two types of industries right now globally. One of them is the one that have been cyber attacked, and the other one, sorry to tell you, but is the ones that are going to be cyber attacked. So we have to be ready. We have to have a business continuity plan and a recovery plan after these attacks. Last but not least, the final phase, which is the phase 6, is training, improve continuously our cybersecurity path. We have to train the people. We have to be prepared. We have to aware the people the importance of themselves, of every one of us in this cybersecurity path in our companies. So we have to be ready of that. So, of course, Wolfgang, now the stage is yours. Can you share us about a little bit the examples that we have trying to fix this puzzle with a couple of our customers, my friend?
Yes, thank you very much, Oscar. Very impressive how you also kind of simplify, right, the complex topic to how you sort the puzzle, as you said, right? Yeah, when now we look at an example, a real use case for one of our customers, Hydro-Québec, who asked us to build the digital-first substations. Hydro-Québec is a TSO in Canada, about 20,000 employees. I think more than 60 hydropower systems or stations, quite big one. And of course, Hydro-Québec was aware, right? If we build a digital substation, cybersecurity is a really important topic, right? For several reasons, but obvious, right? For, let's say, the resilience, right? The resistance against outage, but also regarding safety. That's why Hydro-Québec required a partner that considered cybersecurity from the beginning till the end, along the entire value chain or delivery chain, right? From development of the product itself, moving on to the integration to a solution, but also, I mean, this kind of environments will be operated for many, many years, 30, 40, 50 years, right? We at Siemens started a couple of years ago, I think it was 15, 20 years ago, Oscar mentioned, right, to integrate cybersecurity into our products, right? Looking or considering also the secure development lifecycle as part of the design of our products, but also when we actually program our software, right? In order to reduce the likelihood of vulnerabilities, for example, by quality gates. Nevertheless, right, we know even if the system might be secure today, it won't be in the future. That's why we need to consider patch management, vulnerability management right from the beginning, right? Today, and I saw some questions in the chat, right? Today, yes, I agree. We have some, especially with legacy systems, we have difficulties to patch that systems, right? We need to find compensating controls because we can't touch the system anymore, but nevertheless, the system needs to run. This is what we learned from the past, right? That's what we do not implement again, right? We see that from the beginning as a required function or requirement for the future. But also when we look at the The security function itself of a product, like role-based access control, right, or the support for certificates, that needs to be considered from the beginning of the development of a product. It can't be, or it's very challenging to implement this afterwards, right? But moving on to building the systems, to building the solutions by leveraging the products, right? That's another dimension where we need to consider security, for example, in network segmentation, building the secure perimeter. As Oscar said, right, remote access, a very important topic. Also, we know remote access from the past many years, but I think COVID-19 changed a lot, and we had to open doors, right, we didn't have to open beforehand. That's why we need to include security controls in the infrastructure while we build the solution. But build on that, right? Build on the security in the products, build on the security in the solutions we establish. We operate substations, we operate power systems for 30, 40, 50 years. And of course, we need to consider security within that time frame as well. And it's about security information management that keeps the changes under control. Here's the word change again, right? But also security operations, right? That makes sure that our our infrastructure is operated securely and stays securely. When we summarize this project, I think we have been able to convince Hydrocurbic because we invested into cybersecurity over the last couple of years, right? What you see here, the maturity we achieved, is not something you can establish in a few days or a few weeks or a few months. This takes years, 10 years, 15 years sometimes, right? Depending on the maturity and the functionality or the requirement, especially in software development, right? You see here some of the certifications, and I mean, I'd like to just point out one which caught my attention, right? It's the 6244341. We achieved the highest maturity level, 404. That's the only one in the market who achieved that maturity level up to now. And I must say, this is hard work over a lot of years. And I must admit, I'm a bit proud of it, because I think developing secure products is the foundation for solution and for secure operation. That's where it starts, right? There is another example Oscar will show you. It's about detection and response.
Thanks a lot, Wolfgang. Yes, a German company distributing energy and drinking water in Germany asked us to help them protect their industry. And this example, I really like it a lot because they ask us to be prepared against threats in their cybersecurity path. They come with us and they said, okay, I know that we have emerging cyber threats, the regulatories are increasing, right? So I really want to be prepared for all of this. Why I really like this example is because, 80% of, of our projects in different businesses, right? Even in utilities, for example, in Americas, comes directly to us as soon as they receive an attack. When we received this cyber attack, we became worried about what to do and how to solve it. But it's too late, colleagues. And I really like this example because German companies like this one, distributing electricity and drinking water, come before to that and said, okay, I know that the threats are increasing. I know that I have to be prepared, and I know that they are focusing on attack water and wastewater, utilities companies now, and the cyber criminals are starting to focusing on my industry. So I want to be prepared. So in Siemens, our solution was to implement a managed detection and response system, right? It's a Siemens powered by our security operational centers. You will, and the famous SOCs, right? this MDR includes the security monitoring, the challenging threats, the detection in real time of the cyber attacks, and the incident response against them. And we support the client in the remediation and the recovery against these threats, right? And well, the customer value was incredibly awesome because we as Siemens provide a tailored managed service to meet the regulatory requirements. They detect and respond against cyber attacks, while the customer can be focused on their daily business operation, which is really, really good. Every one of us knows what is the price of a day of a labor day in our industries, right? It's such a big amount of money, and we have to be ready. And if we are ready, of course, again, these cyber attacks, we are not going to lose all that money, right? So, well, we are almost done in this interesting chat. But Wolfgang, I know that we have some takeaways and suggestions. The stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Oscar. Let's look at the key takeaways, right? And let's start with the digital transformation first. Just to wrap up, I think these statements are very important. Digital transformation is business driven. There is no digital transformation without the business. So if you don't know the business objective, a strong recommendation is you talk to the people and find out. Why? It's also your responsibility to get closer, to get a better understanding where the company is moving and how you can support it in your role. Right? And by mentioning that, right, it starts with people. It starts with you, with us, right? We are the ones who drive this. When we look at cybersecurity, let's change, right? Let's look at cybersecurity as a possibility to be an innovation enabler. As I said, right? Let's not try to resist the change at all costs, right? Let's try to leverage the change to get investment to improve the maturity of our cybersecurity controls. If we do that, then we can also the cybersecurity can also be the backbone of the digital transformation. I would say a safety net as well for the company, for the enterprise. You might know at least one example where a company went out of business because of a cyber attack, or very close to. We know a couple of examples in each country probably. And remember our example, right? With cybersecurity, it's not that you slow down the company. You at the end, the long run, you are faster and safer. Oscar, what do you think? Any recommendations from you to add?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Wolfgang. We have talked about trust in cybersecurity. And colleagues, what is better than trusting a company with years of experience in the operational technologies? And of course, a company that knows how our processes work and have protect themselves against cyber threats for more than 20 years. So Siemens wants to build that trust, sharing their own medicine. What we have resolved for us in such many years in our infrastructure, in our offices, and of course in our factories, we want to put it in our customers' table. And going back to the example of the car brakes, Wolfgang, you can have top technology, the best of the best, Ferrari, a BMW, a Volkswagen, with top brakes systems and security systems. But it's no point in having all these systems if we don't respect the highway rules. And more important, if we don't fasten our seatbelt to cyber protect us. So let's start this path from ourselves. And I invite you, colleagues and our customers, to fasten our seatbelts.